नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद। श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव भगवान की, निताई गौर सुंदर की, पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Studying from Granth Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text number 28. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Ya param ramhasa sakshat trigunas jiva sangitat Bhagavantam Vasudevam Prapanna sa priyo hi me. Ya param ramhasa sakshat triguna jiva sangitat Bhagavantam Vasudevam Prapanna sa priyo hi me. Ya param rahasam sakshat Triguna jiva sangitam Bhagavantam Vasudevam Prapanna sa priyo hi me. Ya param brahma sa sakshat Triguna jiva sangitat Bhagavantam Vasudevam Prapanna sa priyo hi me. Ya param brahma sa sakshat Triguna jiva sangitat Bhagavantam Vasudevam Prapanna sa priyosmi. Text number translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Lord Shiva continued, any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the controller of everything, material, nature as well as the living entity, is actually very dear to me. I repeat this. Lord Shiva continued, any person who surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the controller of everything, material nature as well as the living entity, is actually very dear to me. Purport. Now Lord Shiva explains the reason he has personally come before the princes. It is because all the princes are devotees of Lord Krishna, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Lord Shiva is rarely seen by common men, and similarly a person who is fully surrendered unto Vasudeva Krishna is also very rarely seen. Because a person who is fully surrendered unto the Supreme Lord is very rare. Samahatma sudurlabha. Consequently, Lord Shiva came especially to see the Prachetas, because they were fully surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Vasudeva is also mentioned in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam in the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Since Vasudeva is the ultimate truth, Lord Shiva openly proclaims that one who is a devotee of Lord Vasudeva, who is surrendered to Lord Krishna, is actually very dear to him. Lord Vasudeva Krishna is worshipable not only by ordinary living entities but by demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma and others. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stuvanti Divyastavaha. Bhagavatam 12.13.1. Krishna is worshipped by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Varuna, Indra, Chandra and all other demigods. That is also the situations with a devotee. Indeed, one who takes to Krishna consciousness immediately becomes very dear to anyone who is simply finding out and beginning to understand what Krishna consciousness actually is. Similarly, all the demigods are also trying to find out who is actually surrendered to Lord Vasudeva, because the Prachetas prince were surrendered to Vasudeva. Lord Shiva willingly came forth to see them. Lord Vasudeva or Krishna is described in Bhagavad Gita as Purushottama. Actually, he is the enjoyer, Purusha, and the supreme Uttama as well. He is the enjoyer of everything, the Prakriti and the Purusha. Being influenced by the three modes of material nature, the living entity tries to dominate material nature. But actually he is not Purusha enjoyer, but Prakriti, as described in Bhagavad Gita 7. Aparayam itastu anyam prakirtim viddhi me param. Thus the jiva or living entity is actually Prakriti, or the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. Being associated with material energy, he tries to lord it over the material nature. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mamaivamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manasashtindriyani prakriti sthani karsati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which includes the mind. By endeavoring to dominate material nature, the living entity simply struggles hard for existence. Indeed, he struggles so hard to enjoy himself that he cannot even enjoy the material resources. Thus, he is sometimes called Prakriti or Jiva, for he is situated in the marginal potency. When the living entity is covered with the three modes of material nature, he is called Jiva Sangita. There are two kinds of living entities. One is called Chara and the other is called Akshara. Chara means those who have fallen down and become conditioned, and Akshara refers to those who are not conditioned. The vast majority of living entities live in the spiritual world and are called Akshara. They are all in the position of Brahman or pure spiritual existence. They are different from those who have been conditioned by three modes of material nature. Being above both Chara and Akshara, Lord Krishna Vasudeva is described in Bhagavad Gita 15.18 as Purushottama. The impersonalists may say that the Vasudeva is the impersonal Brahman, but actually the impersonal Brahman is subordinate to Krishna, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14.27. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. That Krishna is the source of the impersonal Brahman is also confirmed in Brahma Samhita 5.40. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti. The impersonal Brahman is nothing but the effulgence or bodily rays of Krishna. And in those bodily rays there are innumerable universes floating. Thus in all respects Vasudeva Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and Lord Shiva is very satisfied with those who are completely surrendered to him. Complete surrender is described by Krishna as indicated in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja. The word sakshat means directly, is very significant. There are many so-called devotees, but actually they are only karmis and jnanis. There are many so-called devotees, but actually they are only karmis and jnanis, for they are not directly devotees of Lord Krishna. The karmis sometimes offer the results of their activities to Lord Vasudeva, and in this offering is called karmarpanam. These are considered to be fruitive activities, for the karmis consider Lord Vishnu to be one of the demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, because they consider Lord Vishnu to be on the same level with the demigods. They contend that surrendering to the demigod is as good as surrendering unto Vasudeva. This connection is denied herein because if it were true, that Lord Shiva would have said that surrender to him, Lord Vasudeva, Vishnu or Brahma, is the same. However, Lord Shiva does not say this because he himself surrenders unto Vasudeva, and whoever else surrenders unto Vasudeva is very, very dear to him. This is expressed herein openly. The conclusion is that a devotee of Lord Shiva is not dear to Lord Shiva, but a devotee of Lord Krishna is very dear to Lord Shiva. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langyayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. So it's a great confusion has been sorted out. Actually, it's relief for so many people, and especially for the devotees. The beginning, we come here, then we start worshipping the Lord. Then in between, we advise the demigod worship. Then we are also called to demigod temples, or we go to demigod temples. Then we have heard something, so we're not supposed to worship. But when we go there, no, if I don't go to Ganapati, don't go to Lord Shiva, earlier I used to go, they'll become very angry. They become angry means something, I'll go some difficult time, or my relatives or something business I will lose. So this constant fear is there, that if I'm not worshipping them, they'll become angry. What's my Kula Devam? Kula Devam from so many, you know, so many generations we are worshipping. How suddenly we can start worshipping Kul Devam? If we stop worshipping Kul Devam, some anarthas will surely happen. So this is very big fear in heart of people. They are not there. So this has been personally clarified by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is telling, any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the controller of everything, material nature as well as the living entities, actually very dear to me. So the Lord himself, Lord Shiva, is personally clarifying. Actually, Prabhupada is saying that person is worshipping Lord Shiva is not so dear to him, but worshipping whoever is worshipping Krishna is more dear to him. This was Prabhupada is telling is that devotee of Lord Shiva is not dear to Lord Shiva, but a devotee of Lord Krishna is very dear to Lord Shiva. So one person recently uh, came to temple. So on Ganesh Chaturthi. So he said, I have to go to many temple. Then since I am uh, worshipping Krishna, then he's telling, oh, all they are one form only, no? I think one form only. So that's another confusion people have there. Everything is one, but either worship Lord Shiva or worship Lord Krishna, worship any demigod, everyone is one. So I clarified, no, not everyone is one. There is one Lord, one Supreme Lord is there. One Bhagavan is one. But not that everyone is Bhagavan. When I asked him, are you Bhagavan? No, I am not Bhagavan. So I said like that. Not that demigods are Bhagavan. They are demigods are living entities. They are empowered to perform or to carry out some universal function. And they are empowered because they are also devotees of Lord. Not that they are Supreme Personality of God. They are not Bhagavan. They are not Parmeswara. Parmeswara is only one. The same Parmeswara manifests himself in different forms. Those forms are not the forms of living entities. So this I was trying to uh, brought to him. But however I was trying it, he was not, in heart there was not, conviction was not coming. I was able to see. So still people, after knowing also, they remain attached to worshipping the demigods. They will come and worship Krishna also. They will remain attached to worship of demigods also. Prabhupada is writing here in this. Prabhupada is telling all people, karmis and jnanis. Telling there hardly there is a person who is a devotee of the Lord. Mostly people are on the karmi level or the jnani level. Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. The person who is completely surrendered to the Lord is very, very, very rare. So yeah, Prabhupada has mentioned after many words. Yeah. The word Sakshat means directly is very significant. There are many so-called devotees. There are many so-called devotees, but actually they are only karmis and jnanis, for they are not directly devotees of Lord Krishna. The karmis sometimes offer the results of their activities to Lord Vasudeva, and this offering is called karmarpanam. These are considered to be fruitive activities. For karmi, consider Lord Vishnu to be one of the demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, because they consider Lord Vishnu to be on the same level with the demigods. They contend that surrendering to the demigod is as good as surrendering unto Vasudeva. So people coming and worshipping Lord here, there is a, and they are considering all other demigods also, they are going and worshipping them. Wherever they go, they want something in return. They are not worshipping with that natural sense of gratitude or sense of love of some I suppose to worship the Lord. They coming and worshipping because they have so many desires, list of all desires, and they want the desires to be fulfilled. So they come and worship. And they go for same thing, they go to worship different demigods. And wherever they like they worship and they feel their desires are satisfied, they feel, oh yes, they are here my prayers are being heard. So their faith is become fixed there. So uh, their worship is mainly for their own sense gratification, to further their sense gratification. So in this particular verse, Lord Shiva is declaring that uh, person who is worshipping Lord Krishna is very dear to me. So I was trying to explain that person also, that if you are worshipping Lord Krishna, you are automatically worshipping everyone. The if you uh, uh, suppose if someone calls you Prime Minister, it's like equate you with Narendra Modi. Maybe one or two times you may enjoy it, but after third, fourth times you may you start feeling offended, and then you will try to keep away from that person because he is trying to make fun on you. He is saying yes, that is true. And say same thing happens when we worship the demigods also. When we worship them as the supreme Lord, they get offended, and then they are not very pleased with us. We are worshipping them as supreme Lord. So the best thing is to worship Lord Krishna and also pray to demigods, because they are also devotees of the Lord. When we pray to them that please engage me in service of Lord Krishna, or please empower me to serve Lord Krishna as good as you are doing. So when we in this way we approach to them, already very being pleased because we are trying to serve the Lord, they actually reciprocate with us, they reward us. So that's how we can see here, and the same thing is happening. When we go to worship demigods, it's very hardly to appease them. It's not so easy. Actually, the Lord Shiva is called Asutos. He is very quickly pleased. But they are demigods whose worship, this is not very easy to appease them. Takes a lot of effort and lot of time. No, this is in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's mentioned 10th canto is mentioned about the story of Vitasura. Vitasura, he was born to a demon father, and he was himself demon, and he wanted to get some powers, some siddhi he wanted. So he went, and on advice of someone, he went and started worshipping Lord Shiva. He went to Badrinath. There, in one corner, he ignited fire sacrifice and he started cutting flesh from his body and offering, hmm, in order to call it to Lord, for calling for Lord Shiva, that this is my offering. And in this way, for 7 days, he kept doing. And finally, he saw that Lord Shiva has not come, after all these things, because Lord Shiva understood he has got some very dangerous purpose, so he was not appearing. Then he decided to cut off his head in the sacrifice. So he went and took bath, and then he was about to cut his head. Then Lord Shiva felt very sorry that he is going to commit suicide. Not that he is very happy and he is thinking that I should go. He is thinking, oh, this foolish person is going to commit suicide. So he's feeling. So generally, it happens if see somebody is going to commit suicide, we want to stop him. In order to stop him, Lord Shiva appeared there. And he said, why you are committing this suicide? You don't have to commit suicide. What you want? Then he said, no, I just want that if whomever's head I keep my hand, he should burn to ashes. Then Lord Shiva said, okay. So without this thing feeling, okay, whatever will be later will be seen. But let me stop this person from committing suicide. So he granted this boon. And we know further that how Vritasura misused that boon. He was immediately, as soon as he got the boon, then he was thinking, this Asura, he wants to exploit the material nature. So immediately he thought, oh, I should also enjoy Gauri. Then why Lord Shiva? He is a obstacle. As long as he is there, I cannot enjoy Gauri. Then he tried to approach Lord Shiva to keep his hand on his head. Lord Shiva understood this and he started running away. This demon kept chasing him. He kept chasing him in all the corners of universe. And then when Lord Brahma and he saw that how Lord Shiva is put into this difficult situation, he went to Lord Vishnu and said, in Svetadvipa, Lord Brahma approached Lord Vishnu in Svetadvipa and said that this is what is happening and Lord Shiva is into such a difficult situation. Then Lord Vishnu immediately he took a form of a brahmachari, very nice brahmachari, and then he approached to Vritasura. And then Lord is very expert in speaking. He spoke in such a convincing words that Vritasura started feeling, oh, he is my friend. And then Lord Vishnu as a brahmachari convinced him, whose word you are believing. Lord Shiva doesn't have much any power. If you want, you can just taste on your head. Then actually the Lord he expressed his illusory potency, and Vritasura was completely bewildered. And then he thought for one time he thought, oh, that's true only. Why I am so much running here and there and tiring myself? Let me check whether his boon is working or not working. So he become so much under the influence of Lord's illusory potency. He did not thought that if it works, he will burn to ashes. That he did not, because he is completely convinced on thought that this boon and all of Lord Shiva may not work. So he kept his own hand on his head and he was burnt to ashes. That's how the Lord Shiva was relieved. So see that how people are worshipping demigods. It's not that they are in love with that particular demigod. People are worshipping because they want to exploit the material nature. For this purpose only the living entities Jiva has come here. We are all living entities, marginal energy of the Lord, and we can test on ourselves that how much we have tendency for sense gratification. Service we have to do forcefully, but sense gratification we will do naturally. And this sense gratification we can keep on doing. And service, after one time we will stop. Enough. Why I should only serve? Others also should serve me. Others should also do the service. So this is how disease is. But how much ever sense gratification we do, we always remain dissatisfied. That's also we can experience. That how much ever sense gratification we actually, more we do sense gratification, more we become dissatisfied. It's mentioned that the mind remains dissatisfied when indulged in sense gratification. So a real satisfaction comes when we are engaged in devotional service. When we engage in service, the service of the Lord, then actually we feel that we will feel in the core of our heart will be feeling satisfied. That is actually our real nature is. But because of contamination, this material contamination, desires for sense gratification, we are trying to exploit material nature and have sense gratification, but more and more we feel dissatisfied only. On the other side, we see that Lord Shiva was very pleased to Prachetas, because these Prachetas, there were 10 numbers, 10 of them were there, and they were performing sacrifice, austerity inside the water. So the Lord Shiva, actually before they go into water, I think Lord Shiva meets them, and he gives them mantra that how you should do worship, how you should meditate on the Lord. Before this we were discussing this point that very difficult to please Lord Shiva and all this demigod. They are very difficult to please them. But here in this case we see that Lord Shiva is leaving the Kailas and he is coming down to see Prachetas. He himself is coming to meet them. So it is so easy. If we just worshipping Lord Krishna, it's mentioned Bhagvantam Vasudevam Prapanna. If we surrender ourselves to Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva becomes very pleased, and he himself is giving us his audience. And another incident, we know that once Parvati Devi, she is asking about worship. She is telling there are so many worship, my Lord Shiva, my dear husband, which worship is the best? Then to answering this, Lord Shiva is telling Aradhananam Vishnu Aradhanam Param. He is telling, my dear wife, among all the worship, the worshipping Lord Vishnu is the best, is the supreme. But then he goes to say further, even worship, better than that worship is to worship the devotees of Lord Vishnu. So he says that worship of the Lord Vishnu is definitely supreme, but even better than that is worshipping his devotees. Why worshipping devotees is better worship than the worship of Lord Vishnu? Because the same Lord becomes more pleased when his devotees are glorified. If we directly worship the Lord is not so much pleased. But when we glorify his devotees, the same Lord becomes more pleased. So which is the best way to please the Lord? Not directly worshipping him. If you glorify his devotees, the Lord is even more pleased. So that's what Lord Shiva is saying. And we see that here Lord Shiva is being the devotee of the Lord, Vaishnavanam Yatha Sambhu. He is very pleased if somebody is worshipping, is surrendering to Lord Krishna. That we can also see that if someone is coming to temple, we feel very happy that he is coming to temple. So similarly, Lord Shiva also feels very good when somebody is surrendering to Lord Krishna. So now this one point is clear that if you are worshipping Lord Krishna, the Shiva is very much pleased, and also he himself is telling that among all the worship of Lord Vishnu is the best worship. We don't have to go to worship for different. If we have any material desire also, we don't have to go and worship different demigods. Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kam udardi tivrena bhakti yogen yajet purusham param. Say that if we don't have any desires, or we are full with material desires, or we want to get liberation, in any cases, one should worship Lord Vishnu. By worshipping Lord Vishnu, all our desires are fulfilled, and plus we become purified, and we become qualified to get free from the cycle of birth and death. So this is the advantage. Therefore Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, whoever worshipping demigods, actually they are not broad-minded. They are cripple-minded, less intelligent. They are just thinking about their immediate sense gratification. It's like Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Nitai Gaur Sundar ki jai, Patit Panch Prabhupada ki jai. Like the small children, they are very fond of playing. They just want to go and play. But they have been advised, no, you should stay back and study and you score good marks, so that you can, in future, you will be in better situated. So they are not able to see their long-term goal. They are only able to see their short-term goal, short-term pleasure. Therefore, they are called less intelligent. So they are thinking that the demigods will be they will be pleased and they will award me whatever I want. So they go and approach demigods. But in fact, whatever award is received by worship of demigods is sanctioned by the Lord. Whomever temple we go to Ganesha temple, we go to Lord Shiva temple or Bhagavati temple, and whatever prayer we offer, actually that prayer is fulfilled by the sanctions of Lord Krishna. Unless the Lord sanctions it, even a blade of grass does not move. Everything is owned and controlled by the Lord. So all their prayers also fulfilled by Lord Krishna's sanction only. So if we approach Lord Krishna directly, the advantage is whatever is best for us we will receive. Demigods being appeased, they are ready to give everything whatever we want, good or bad. So whenever we get bad things, actually it will harm us. But when we worship Lord Krishna, it is not like that. If we desire something which is bad for us, we may not receive. And if we worship the Lord, we may not receive the bad thing, but by just power of worship we will become purified. We will become free from desires for sense gratification. We will free from the cycle of birth and death. So this is the power of worshipping. It's mentioned here, prapanna, surrendering. Krishna is saying, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam bhaja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. Just by surrendering ourselves to Krishna, we become free from all sinful activities. All sinful activities. It's not actually simple statement. Actually, the Lord is speaking. This is 100% true. Another day we were hearing that Ajamila story where Agastya Muni is worshipping Lord Krishna's deity, and Sukadeva Goswami is narrating the pastimes of Ajamila. And there he's touching, while worshipping the deity, is touching the feet of deity and saying, Satyam bruvimi. Whatever I am speaking is 100% true. Believe me, this is 100% true what I am going to speak to you, this pastimes of Ajamila. So he is such a great authority, and because this incident is so much astonishing, just by chanting the name of Lord Krishna, Narayana, the Ajamila has become freed from so many lifetimes. All his sinful activities, he has become free just by once chanting the name of Narayana. And Agastya Muni is telling, believe me, this is truth. He is touching the feet while worshipping the Lord Krishna. He is touching the feet and saying this. This is 100% truth. So this great authority, similar things are also mentioned in the scriptures. That it is mentioned that the names of Lord is so potent that one name, by just chanting one name, one can become free from so many sinful activities, reactions of so many sinful activities, that one cannot even in dream can commit all those sinful activities. There's so much, for any amount of time, even inside the dream, imagination also one cannot commit such sinful activity. The names of Lord is so much powerful. And while explaining this pastimes, Agast Muni is again and again touching the feet of Lord Krishna and saying this, yes, it is true, it is true. This is Sukadeva Goswami is telling this to Parikshit Maharaj, that I heard this from the great sage while he was doing worship. He is saying this in the Jamila pastimes. We see in Srimad Bhagavatam it is mentioned. So we should directly take advice of Lord Shiva, and without any fear we should worship Lord Krishna, and just by worshipping Lord Krishna we become very dear to Lord Shiva. We have seen also that many devotees, they are earlier worshipping Hanumanji, or they are worshipping Lord Shiva, Ganesha, and after coming to Krishna consciousness, they have this feeling, by the blessings of Lord Shiva or Lord Ganesha or Lord Hanumanji only I am doing bhakti now. Because earlier I was worshipping them, there were some arrangements were made for me which were conducive to take up Krishna consciousness. So it is definitely by his blessings I am practicing Krishna consciousness. So they become even more grateful to Lord Shiva or Hanumanji. They become more they uh, they feel more connected with them. How they feel more connected? Earlier they were worshipping for desires for some in return something, but now after becoming devotee, they have this feeling, because of their blessings only I am now become devotee. It is not now the business feeling is not there. Now the feeling of gratitude is there, that oh, by their mercy only now I am practicing bhakti. So they go also to their temple and pray to them, seek their blessings. This is how we see in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is so wonderfully brought. We can see this is same thing happening to Prachetas. They were earlier worshipping Lord Shiva. His father was a great Karmakandi, King Prachina Barishat. So he was always worshipping all different demigods. So in the same way, the Prachetas, now the Lord Shiva himself is coming and meeting them. So definitely they will always remain so grateful to Lord Shiva, that by his blessings, his guidance only, we were able to see Lord Vishnu. So in Prabhupada is writing here that Krishna is telling, Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Mana Sastindriyani Prakriti Sthani Kasati. The living entity in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So the conditioned life is because of their sense desires for sense gratification. They get, according to desire, there are 84 lakh bodies are there, so they get different bodies. So in that body they get conditioned. Human being is thinking I am human being, dog is thinking I am dog, cat is thinking I am cat. In whichever species we are going, we are starting our identification with that kind of body. We are not able to realize that I am beyond this body, I am eternal soul. I am Jiver Swarupa Krishna Nityadas, I am the eternal servant of Lord Krishna. We are not able to feel like that. We have been so much conditioned, and this conditioning is result of three modes of material nature. Being subjected to Rajas, Tamas and Sattva Guna, we are identifying ourselves with particular body. And because of this, we are struggling very hard in this material world. Everybody is struggling very hard. Yesterday I went and met one person. He's diabetic. He's a diabetic patient, and from 1.5 years this person is suffering. He had some 10 years before kidney transplantation. Then it was going good. Then his kidney again got failed, because 10 years like this how maximum the kidney will go after transplantation. So he was struggling very hard to replace the kidney and going through a lot of suffering. Then somehow the kidney got replaced. Then he got some crack in his backbone, and then he was lying on the bed, going through a lot of pain. Then that got cured. Then he is already diabetic. There was a small crack in his feet, and that got infected, and it is in backside of his feet, in such sensitive area. There's so many nerves are there. The small wound is giving him so much pain that he's always crying very loudly. And then doctor has said that no, you have to, as soon as possible, you have to amputate that. You have to remove that feet. Now today is going to be operated and one feet will be removed. From 1.5 years, recently 1.5 years is constantly suffering. He is not suffering alone. Whole family will be suffering, because everybody is connected with their love and affection. If I am suffering, no problem, but seeing him suffering, I am suffering more. So this whole thing is material world, as Krishna is telling, that we all struggling very hard. And this person, I went and met him, and I trying to explain him that you don't think that this is the suffering, the maximum suffering you are going through. Even before getting this body, no, as soon as we have got this body in the womb, our suffering has been much more greater than this. So I was narrating him from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, the prayers of Jiva in the womb. I was telling him that how so much suffering is there, moment to moment, we are feeling unconscious. We are becoming unconscious. And there we are praying to the Lord. Though my Lord, though I am situated in such a painful situation, but you should let me be here only. Because as soon as I come out, I'll become again subjected to illusory potency, and I'll start doing all my material activities, which will again give me this body. So I have to go through this again and again. Better to stay here and think about it and come out of this cycle of birth and death. So his prayer is, my Lord, I should not take birth. That's what is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is why I was explaining to him. Before that he was crying loudly, but as soon as I started narrating this to him, he went to nice sleep. As soon as I started telling about this Srimad Bhagavatam, he went to sleep. For 3 minutes, 4 minutes he was sleeping. Then he again got up. So that's how our condition is. We are completely keeping ourselves, have desire that I should become free from this suffering and go back to Godhead. This is not a very good place. Though we are struggling very hard, but we want to stay here only. So if somebody is developing desire to go back to Godhead, is trying to surrender, actually the devotees become very, very pleased with him. They're seeing that among all those people, millions and trillions of people, this person is interested in Krishna consciousness. He is interested in his real welfare. So the devotees, they become very, very pleased with him, and they want to help him. You can see Lord Shiva, he is coming down, leaving the Kailas and coming down to meet Prachetas. And he is giving guidance to them. Without asking, he is giving guidance to them. That you should do like this. This is the way you can very easily approach the Lord, and he will become very pleased with you. Because he knows the secret. How the Lord will receive, he will become pleased. So he is telling everything. So that's how we you can see. Same way, when we are going and preaching, we see somebody interested in Krishna consciousness, we want to spend more time with him. So, but unfortunately, we see that we find hardly people who are interested in uh, Krishna consciousness. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sam Mahatma Sudurlabha. Very, very rarely we see that people are interested in their real welfare. So, therefore, finally, what devotees they will do? They will pray to Lord. My Lord, there is no hope for this person, so and so person. Only when you can extend your causeless mercy, he can be freed from your illusory potency. So we will pray to the Lord that please give your extra mercy to him so that he becomes interested in your devotional service. That's how we will pray. When we are distributing the books, we will pray more. Because somehow we understand that our effort is not going to take. So Lord's mercy should also add inside. So that way. See, this is Srimad Bhagavatam. This is bringing the same thing is there. Lord Shiva is very pleased with person who is trying to surrender to Lord Krishna. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Patit Panch Prabhupada ki jai.